Boulder is a beautiful city. It's amazing. From kind of just the people to the nature is just amazing.
Boulder's a great place to live. It's beautiful, one. The people are really great. All the houses are really cute too. They're all like a lot of older houses. And yeah, it's just a really great community.
One of my favorite things about moving here is probably it just feels more like home.
My favorite part of Boulder is the mountains. I'll either hang out with my friends or go for bike rides.
What do I do for fun around Boulder? I mean, get shit-faced or just go for a nice walk. I feel like there's always something going on in Boulder.
I've been a resident at The Lodge, which is a 4-star community, for about a year and a half.
I live in Buffalo Canyon, managed by 4-Star Realty.
No, I would not recommend anybody to rent from 4-star.
I would describe 4-Star as a property management company that claims to just make a profit and not care about their tenants. And I think they do a pretty good job of that.
So it happened the night of Mother's Day. I was by myself and my cat woke me up. He was meowing at me to wake up at 3 in the morning, and I stepped and there was a giant puddle of water. This happened twice back to back that week. When it did flood, it did ruin most of our furniture and bedding. And it took about 2 weeks to clean up after those floods.
We didn't have heat in our unit for 2 months after we moved in. The motors for all the units were blown. One, when you turned it on, it just spat sparks out at you. And it took about 2.5 months for 4-Star to do anything about it.
Our oven hasn't been functioning since we've moved in. And I guess this is a problem that they've had in that house for a while. We tried reaching out to them a bunch of different times, kind of saying like, this really isn't working, it's a gas oven, and like the whole room smells like gas when we start to turn it on, and that doesn't work. And so it seemed like it was something that was maybe a hazard.
We only have 3 keys for our apartment when 4 people live there. I have talked to management about it. I went up to the leasing office several times, and she suggested we rotate keys.
The manager of my apartment complex told me that the apartment is habitable and that they do not have to do anything to find me suitable housing. I felt that that wasn't the case, so I ended up sleeping on my friend's living room floor for a few days because I had to go to work. When you walk in, it was about 100 degrees with 100% humidity. We don't have any windows, so there was no way to open the window to help it dry out. The floors were all ripped up and the baseboards were all ripped up, so there were nails sticking up, pointy end up. Everywhere there was a constant blaring alarm because the carbon monoxide alarm broke. There were bugs everywhere. You couldn't hear yourself think over the fans. My roommate's bed was completely destroyed. I think that being young, 4-Star looked down on us and said, you know, it's fine, whatever, you can live there. It wasn't until we actually got the guarantors of the apartment involved that they actually started to hear our concerns.
My bathroom vent didn't work for a long time. The fan should turn on when you flip the light switch on, but in my bathroom it wasn't working. We put the service request. It took about a month to even get to start fixing it. When they got here, oh, we don't have the part, we're just gonna replace the fan. We waited another 2 weeks for them to come back and then finally install it. But now my fan works, but it took a while.
Top of the stairs, underneath the carpet, is the subflooring, and that subflooring was rotten. It was caving in, and it was a hole in our floor. The previous tenants must have had extensive water damage, but we were told that because previous tenants had caused the damage, it wasn't a priority for our leasing agent, as people who were stepping over a hole in their floor every day, stepping out of the shower in the floor kind of squish underneath you because it wasn't sturdy. To us, it was very much a priority.
First day that it flooded, the actual owner of the biohazard cleanup crew was the one to be called out in the morning to clean up the flood. And when I asked him, what's going on, he basically complained that they never let them continue the repair services because they're more focused on finding a cost-effective manner than a timely manner. So it actually caused them more issues to have to put everything on pause.
One of the things that took it so long to get fixed was 4-Star was trying to find the cheapest way to get it fixed. I think we had 3 flooring contractors come. Each one told me that the floor needed to be replaced within the next week. The head of maintenance from 4-Star even came to look at the hole, and he told me, and he was shocked that it was this bad.
They showed us around. They gave us a paper with the room dimensions on it, and we measured the rooms, and it was not accurate. They said all 4 rooms were the exact same dimension. One room was at least 5 feet bigger lengthwise than the other 3 rooms.
The move-in experience for me was kind of surprising. It was advertised to have more windows in the apartment. We actually only have a door in our living room that has a window on it, and my roommate has a window in her room, but I don't even have a window in my room. What they do to remedy the window is I actually have a window that goes into my roommate's room, and it is in my closet, and it is about less than a foot wide, and it's just where I can peer into my roommate's room perfectly.
They're 4-bedroom apartments. They really try and cram 4 people in there. There's a bedroom that the only way to get to it is to walk through a bathroom. It's kind of inconvenient because if I'm taking a shower and my roommate's in her room and she wants to go eat breakfast or do anything outside of her room, she's got to wait till I'm finished.
The house was not clean. When we got it, it was really gross actually. The floors were dirty, pretty much all of our rooms and the carpets were dirty. There was grime on all of the surfaces. I found a beer can in my closet.
Walked in, the place reeked. The floors were really dirty. There was dust on every surface. There was still liquor mixers in the cabinets. Outlets and the switches were grimy. There was hair in the bathtub, still toothpaste in the sink. It was clear that the place hadn't been cleaned.
When I communicate with 4-Star, it's always difficult. They always just try to blow us off. You don't really get any of your questions answered. I think 4-Star is a company that likes to take advantage of the fact that most of us are college students and that we're not willing to speak up as much. A lot of the times when you do speak up, you're met with hostility and pretty much a brick wall.
We emailed them multiple times, called our property manager, and they didn't get back to us for a really long time. I would like to ask 4-Star if they are actually avoiding my calls. I want to know because I know that they have people in the office all day long, and we call and they say that they're gonna get back in 24 to 48 hours, and they consistently never do. I would just really like to know what is actually going on there, if it's pointless to call them.
There was one time where we had to go to 4-Star's office to talk to our leasing agent because he was not responding to our emails. We walked in, we saw him behind the cubicles, and he saw us, ducked down. We talked to the front desk. They said, oh, he's not in the office right now, even though we had just previously made eye contact with him. That was cool. That really showed the unprofessionalism that was there.
When I rented somewhere else, it was pretty expensive compared to what my base rent is at my current apartment. But when you realize that, you have your base rent and then you have at least $100 in administrative fees that you have to pay every month, the rent is pretty much equivalent to other apartments in the area.
When we signed our lease with 4-Star, they advertised, I think it was $4,000 rent. But then when it was all said and done, we have around $4,400 rent because of maintenance fees.
I wasn't surprised personally because I don't know, I kind of learned that from an early age how they're gonna say it's this price, but there's fees and there's other things that go on top of it. It's not just kind of a base.
I decided to rent with 4-Star again because I didn't really have a choice. It was kind of a bind of our situation that forced us to rent from them again. I would describe 4-Star as almost a monopoly in Boulder. They're hard to avoid because they own so much, but they have bad business practices in terms of responding and the actual assistance and services that they provide. So it's kind of an unavoidable bad situation that they've presented a lot of people in Boulder with.